You like
Right.
the idea of a dog. You like the
Yes.
idea of a kid. But when it push comes to shove and you realize, ooh, this is a lot of money I'm kicking out each month. Ooh, I don't have no time to myself.
Having a kid is not just buying cute clothes and toys and stuff. Like, you are supposed to be preparing a person to survive in the world without you.
This is an Unsolicited Perspectives YouTube exclusive.
All right, Jay. Went to my favorite social media, Reddit. Am I the jerk?
Just determined to piss me off. All right,
Yep,
go ahead.
every week. So this one is, am I the jerk for not wanting to give my eggs to an ex/friend after saying he'll figure out parenthood?
I thought we was talking about chicken eggs. They mean eggs.
They mean eggs.
No, you are never the jerk for not. What?
Okay, let's
I need the context.
Yeah, this is a little long, so let me get through this because you know how
okay.
you like to interrupt, but
I do like to
understand.
interrupt,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I have a pen and paper. I'm gonna write my notes down.
You're gonna
so
write
I
your
don't
notes down.
interrupt
All
you.
right.
Yes.
Okay. An ex of mine wanted me to donate my eggs. I asked a few questions. He didn't like it, so I said no to donating my eggs. I, a 21-year-old female, don't want to be a mother because I know that that I'll be a bad mother, and I'm not mentally stable. Okay.
I mean, that level of self-awareness is good.
Yes, it is. One look at me, you could tell I'm not ready for motherhood. An ex of mine, a 30-year-old male, wants me to donate an egg of mine so him and his partner, a 34-year-old female, can have kids. Well, it doesn't say male or female, it just says 34, can have kids.
Okay.
I did agree at first, but I wanted to make sure that he knows the risk, that he is financially stable, and most important, that he would be a good father and the kid won't grow up resenting him, like how he's resenting both of his parents.
Okay.
My genetic history is pretty crappy. Autism, ADHD, ADD, ODD, OCD.
JJJC.
Heart failure, bipolar, depression, and type 1 diabetes. Wait a minute. I got to go through that again.
PLC,
Right. Hold on. She said
the whole alphabet.
Right, the whole alphabet. She said her genetic history is pretty crappy. Autism, ADHD, and ADD. ODD. I don't even know what ODD is. ODB?
I don't know what ODD is. Let me look that up while you read the rest of the list.
OCD, heart failure, bipolar, depression, and type 1 diabetes.
Goodness.
Right. Personally, I am autistic, have ADHD, and suffer from depression. It kind of started when my mother died in 2014. That's understandable.
Oppositional defiant disorder.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pause the reading of this Reddit so we can examine ODD. Jay, what is it again?
Oppositional defiant disorder.
Okay, and that means that you just can't take no direction. That you can't.
It involves an ongoing pattern of angry moods, arguing, defiance, and mean behavior towards parents, teachers, and other leaders.
Maybe that's the reason why a lot of the women I date are always fighting with me. Okay.
Right.
Okay, let me go back to what she's saying. Personally, I'm autistic, have ADHD, and suffer from depression. It kind of started when my mother died in 2014. I have a very crappy heart as well. In my early teens, I did have an eating disorder, which has been taken care of as a teen because someone saw the sign before it got worse. With my history like that, I wanted to know that my ex knows that he is getting it, what he's getting into before I donate. I've told him the risk and asked very harsh questions. The questions were, how would you handle your daughter's first period? How would you handle your teenager's eating disorder? How would you handle your child's diabetes? How would you handle your child's heart condition? How would you handle your teenager's drug habit? How would you handle your teenager's mental health crisis? Can a teenager trust you to ask for help during a crisis? Those are some really good questions.
Yeah.
He told me that he'll figure it out. I told him that my family winged it and it made things worse. My teachers and the CPS had to step in. I told my ex that he needs to prepare for scenarios like this given my history. For some reason, He thought me asking these questions was too much, and I'm holding my and that I'm holding my aides hostage. Oh, wow. But I just wanted to make sure that if the kid is in a crisis, that my ex can help them and that this child wouldn't be taken off of them by CPS or traumatized. Personally, I don't think I am the jerk. If I am, let me know. FYI, he asked me about a few hours ago if I'd be willing to do it. So no procedure has been done, no contract has been signed, etc. Given my history, it's very likely I won't be able to anyway. I do know that him and his partner have been wanting kids, as they have regularly talked about it with me, as we are all friends, FYI. For those who are concerned about the age gap, which I do understand, the relationship lasted less than a month, and he has decided to accept it. And he decided to accept that he was gay. All right, so his partner, okay, because when she said 34, she didn't put female or male. So he
Okay.
was gay.
Hmm.
They dated for a little while, a month, and then he's
And
asking
he's
for
like,
eggs, but I
I'm
guess they're
definitely gay.
yeah,
Yeah. They dated for a month and he was like, I'm definitely gay. So let me move on. Let's remain friends. That's nice. Okay.
okay, Jay. So, is she the jerk?
No, not at all. I think you hit the nail on the head. She asked very valid questions. I thought she under being so self-aware, she understands that um, a lot of the things that she's going through are hereditary,
Mhm,
and these are potential things that this man and his partner are going to have to deal with.
mm,
Like, so I think she's being incredibly responsible and self-aware. And I would also ask her how well, I mean, they were only together for a month, but how well did he support you through your conditions and
mm,
your situations? And that could probably give you an I feel like the response of I'll figure it out is one of two things, or both actually. Is one, he's brushing you off, or two, he legitimately has not thought about it. And either one, or both, and either one is not great. So um because if he can brush off your concerns, would he brush off the child's concerns? You know what I mean? So I feel like I feel like this person is not a jerk. I feel like if they want to do this, a lot more conversations need to be had, and her her ex and their partner need to do some counseling to make sure that they're actually prepared for this. Like, having a kid is not just buying cute clothes and toys and stuff. Like, you are supposed to be preparing a person to survive in the world without you. That includes being able to emotionally regulate.
mm,
That includes being able, having, you know, either supporting their mental health if they do have mental health or behavioral conditions, or no, that's it, full stop. Even if they don't, just being able to support their mental health as well as their physical health. Like, yeah, it's not just saying I love you and making sure that they have their basic needs met. The mental health component is very, very important. It's critical. And if they're not taking that seriously, they can find another donor. It's not an issue. Like, they can find another donor.
mhm,
This is probably a cheaper alternative to use somebody that you know,
mhm.
but they need to really start thinking about this much more seriously. So
Yeah,
no.
yeah, I don't think she's a jerk either. Two things that I wanted to point out is that a lot of people, and I say this time and time again, a lot of people, and I was one of them, that was like, "Oh, I want a kid. Why do I
Mhm.
want a kid? Why did I want a kid? Well, I wanted to have a family." Okay, but I was not thinking about all the stuff that goes into raising a child. It's not
Mm.
just having a little version of me, which is self-absorbed and narcissistic in its own right, right? Because that child may not be a little version of you, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and honestly, do you want a duplicate of yourself? Do you want
I
to
don't.
I wouldn't mind a duplicate of myself, but better. right, more evolved.
Right,
And
like,
then,
that's my hope. Like,
yeah,
yes, I think I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a little mini me. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I think it's narcissistic.
I think it's a very human thing though. Like,
And it might be
it
a human thing, but it's
it's
a narcissistic. It's narcissistic to say, I want a little copy of me, because it's like when people say, not comparing babies and dogs. It's like people saying, well, I want a dog, not realizing the work that it
yeah,
takes on a day-to-day basis to
yeah,
take care of a dog, right? You like
right.
the idea of a dog. You like the
Yes.
idea of a kid. But when it push comes to shove and you realize, ooh, this is a lot of money I'm kicking out each month. Ooh, I don't have no time to myself. Ooh, they
Mhm.
are always there asking a bunch of questions, getting in my stuff. Ooh,
Yeah.
I've got to raise a person to be able to go on without me and become
Yes.
successful. I have to give them the tools, which means that I've got to be on point all the time,
Mm,
because these little people are watching me
yeah.
every day. And even when I
Yes.
don't think that I'm setting a bad example, I can be setting a bad example because
Could
they're
be.
watching
Yeah.
every single thing. So
Yeah.
I don't think people take that opportunity. And you said something. What did he support her? They were together for a short period of time. Did he support her when she had her bouts? I could tell
Mm,
you from personal experience, I haven't dealt with children having personal bouts, but I got little nieces, nephews, goddaughter, what have you.
mhm,
Dealing with somebody that has issues as your just from their standpoint,
mm.
as their girlfriend and as their friend, two completely different things, right?
Yeah.
I've had girlfriends who have had crises, and my involvement in that is completely different than what it is in a friendship. So they weren't together long enough for him
Yeah.
to exhibit, one, what he would do in a crisis for a loved one.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's a difference between the women that I've dated and my female friends. There just is. I love them all, but
Yeah.
there's just a difference, and there's a
And there
difference
should
between
be.
right, and there's a difference
Yeah.
between the way I interact with them. So, that was a very interesting point that you brought up, and there's no guarantee that he knows how to deal with either one of them. Her
Mhm.
as a partner, his partner, her as a friend, and a child. So that
Yeah.
is something that really they need to think about. And no, ma'am, you are not the jerk, because
Yeah.
it's your offspring. It's your
Yeah.
body. So
Yeah.
no, you're not a jerk.
You get to decide that. And
Yeah.
then, the stakes are even higher with a child, right?
Mhm.
Because every decision that you make when you respond to a child, especially if they're in some sort of crisis, like every decision you make will inform how they respond to things when they grow up.
Yeah.
So it's not, like it's different than interacting with another adult. Everything that you say or do is going to inform the way that child operates in the world as an adult.
Yeah.
No question. And so the stakes are even higher. So to say that I'll figure it out, that's not a good enough answer for me to feel comfortable donating my egg. Not
Yeah.
at all. Yeah.
So, ma'am, you are not the jerk. But audience, what do you think? Is she the jerk? Is she not a jerk? Drop a line in the comment section and we're going to get at you.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.